that industry. So I make a motion that we nominate her to serve another term.
She keeps going.
So you said
She doesn't miss.
Beth has already replaced Laura Erickson?
Yes.
Yes, we did at the
I'm
last
sorry, I didn't
meeting.
look at those.
And then
notes.
we'll see who the county nominates for their position.
Okay, so a motion on the table for Allison Dial to serve another term by Mr. Corrales. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, thank you very much.
We don't have
We don't
any
have anything.
ongoing code, but we do have the 50% deal.
Right,
The problem is that's
They
only
only have 2
twice
meetings.
a year, so I'm willing to overlook that because
You could be on vacation.
I have no choice. Citizen Development Hotel Motel Advisory Board.
I would, before we move forward on this, I'm the liaison to this one, and I would like to not be the liaison. It's been great, but I was the liaison for several, and so I don't know if this is the appropriate time to mention that.
It is.
You said what now?
Robin would be.
I had sent an email
the
in June,
committee.
She doesn't want to be the
Wouldn't you,
liaison,
Rob?
don't want to be.
Okay,
Oh.
one has been removed.
thank you.
Um,
Go hand in hand with the Visit Midland.
that's where they get their funding.
I think it would actually be really, really constructive to be on both.
Okay.
If you don't want to, I'd like to be on that.
You
But-
would like to be?
Yeah,
Oh.
if Robin doesn't want to, if she wants to,
So
consider.
would you both step out of the room, please?
You guys want to flip for
Arm
it?
wrestle. I'd like to see y'all arm wrestle.
I work out.
Yeah, she works out.
I heard that same, you said that in a meeting
Everyone
yesterday.
thinks they could just beat up on me, but
Stand up for
I didn't say that, she did.
You guys want to
No.
rock, paper, scissors?
No, it's fine,
We have
it's
in the
okay.
past had 2 council appointees to this board because it can get contentious with all of
As
the,
liaisons
as
too?
liaisons.
I think that would actually
There
be
you go.
And we only
There you
have
go.
3 meetings.
Yeah.
let's do it, John.
It's a little bit of a heavy lift for those 3 meetings, and the
Yeah.
next year it's nothing, but I think it's.
Okay, then
There you
would
go.
someone like to entertain the motion to appoint the
So
2
moved.
fighters? So moved.
So moved.
All right, a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Congratulations, you two. I'd love to see that arm wrestling match though when it occurs. We're not done here, I don't think.
Nope.
50% rule, we'll start there with Alex Singh.
He's termed out anyways, and his
Oh,
absence
that's right,
was
he's not
because
eligible.
he got COVID when he was on his way back and couldn't come back, and our meetings are very
He was out of the
So
country.
squished
none of them
together.
are actually eligible
Correct.
to serve, so we need to appoint 3 people to Citizens Development Hotel Motel
Correct.
Advisory.
Do we have to make a motion to remove them, or can we just appoint
No.
them?
No,
Because they're
termed out.
Perfect.
I'd like to make a motion to,
Let me do this real quick.
Yeah.
Hang on, John.
Oh,
Real
I'm sorry.
quick. I'm sorry. Hearing how we've already gone about this, does anybody know anybody or has asked anybody to turn in an application that's sitting here in front of us that you'd like to just speak to? Let me do that.
I know several.
yeah,
Say that again.
I know several of them.
Several of them?
yeah.
Okay. Anybody comments or?
We have an eligibility requirement that we have to appoint at least one of them from the hotel motel.
Industry.
And Alex Singh was our hotelier on that group.
No, I
I'd
think
like to
Would
appoint
Rachel
Ankur Bhatt.
qualify for that?
Yeah.
Rachel and they're both sitting right there, but I think Anchor and Rachel, I do think it's appropriate to appoint one, but not both.
Okay.
And
I'll
I'd
second
like,
your motion.
Okay, is there,
I don't
is there
know
a
if
name attached?
I didn't hear.
Yeah.
Hang on,
Singh.
hang
Who
on,
made
hang
a
on.
motion?
Hang on. Give me a motion for a candidate to replace one of the 3 they're terming out.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Ankur Bhatt to replace one of the candidates, that's
Probably Alex.
probably Alex
It
Singh.
would be Alex, yeah.
I'd second that, but let me ask you a question. Why does it matter that we just have one and maybe not 2 on
I
hotel?
don't know.
I
We can put
I'm okay with it.
No, I'm
They're
just-
they're from the same organization, is my only reason.
Oh, they're from the same organization?
I would be fine having multiple hoteliers. I think one person
I didn't realize there's, okay, I didn't realize that. Okay, never mind. I get it. I get that.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor for Anchor Bhatt to replace Alex Singh. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Who said that? Dan?
Or I actually second
Well,
it. because we didn't have a
Scott
discussion.
actually.
Now I at least know.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know they were from the same organization.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so moved. Anchor Bhatt to replace Alex Singh. The floor is open for another nomination. to replace, let's just say we're replacing Mr. 100% Joey Hopkins.
I would like to nominate Cole Harrison to replace Joey
I'll
Hopkins.
second that.
That's a good choice.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Cole Harrison to replace Joey Hopkins. Any conversation? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, same sign. Cole Harrison is appointed to replace Joey Hopkins. And a third nomination in replacement of Becky Wisdom.
Does, I know Reggie Lawrence has served on several other boards and commissions over the years. Is he presently serving on any?
He has been on PNC, but I don't know if he is.
He's not up there.
He's not on PNC.
Are any of these other people currently serving anywhere else?
No.
I just think if we have new voices and new people that would like a seat at the table, we should prioritize people.
I really like this Ryan Klink's application, but I don't know him
He
personally.
works for Insignia also. So I've
Oh,
called
yes.
everybody on this list.
Oh, okay.
Rachel, there she is, Anchor, she
Say
is.
Insignia is very well represented.
And I spoke with Ryan. The other person I spoke to was Amber Rothhopper. And she is an engineer, she's a young mom, 30 to 35, a business owner. She can make time in her schedule. And she's not currently on anything else. So I make a motion to nominate her because it's new blood on our boards.
Let me ask you this, can Amber, she has additional boards applying to P and R, Parks and Rec, right?
Oh, we need people.
And what I'm saying is, because you mentioned also Ryan Klink, so if we have someone like Amber who is open to 2 places, and someone like Ryan who says he's only interested in citizen development, can we reach a compromise to get her involved and maybe get Ryan involved as well?
I think
And I think before we do that though, I would rather have, if Robin's gonna nominate him, I'd rather have Robin reach out to him.
Well, but didn't y'all say he's with Insignia also? So
Oh, he is.
can't- Yeah, he's off the table.
Oh, that's right, never mind. Okay, I missed, I heard that and completely missed on that, so that puts that nomination on the table of Amber, is that correct? Or third,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
any,
we need her on, if she's willing to do the Parks and Rec.
Yeah, we need someone on Parks and Rec is the problem.
okay, all right, then hold
So
off
for
on that.
Parks and Rec, you've got Don, and you've got Lydia Rodriguez. So I guess the question is, Mayor, if Ryan, you were willing to say, okay, we could use that, the application for that.
I think though that there's several other people besides just Ryan that we did. I thought Laura Watkins had a good application.
Did you get the second page of her application?
No, we're trying to figure
I'm
out
just
who's
sorta-
not part of the Insignia group and who else might serve, might be
Okay,
able to serve
remember,
on Parks and Rec.
on Parks and Rec, remember,
Do you have any interest in serving on another committee?
The other one I applied for was the airport one, but I'm obviously not a pilot and not. But I mean.
See, I didn't see his name on that.
If you need help there,
okay, let's, hang on,
What
hang on.
about Wade McClendon?
Time out. On the Parks and Rec page, just understand,
Look like
we have a 50% issue, I mean, right at the edge. We have Lynn Rogers, who we're gonna have to remove. So that's 1, and then you've got 2, 3, and then we have vacant. So Parks and Rec, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 replacements.
You don't have enough applicants
No,
for all.
no, do we have applicants?
So I think
You mind if I comment, Shirley? While you,
She's fine, she's at 50%.
okay.
I mean,
Well, and she was really ill, is that
Yeah,
why?
she was-
Yeah, yeah.
there are in the handbook extenuating circumstances for illness to excuse it, so she would not be on the block of these jobs for the 50.
we have.
You on the cusp, standing on the block. Don't miss out.
Everybody wants to know planning and zoning.
If y'all cut it off.
We're gonna
have
need
peanut
more
butter.
time for
Parks
Parks and Rec. I'm just gonna be very blunt with you, we don't have enough applicants.
Do we have
Well,
a,
but I
we
think
can
we
replace a couple.
might, because
No, I
I
know
talked to
that we-
someone, if they don't get on, planning and zoning, they would do Parks and Rec.
Yes,
So I think we might be able to do that.
we will be able to put some on there, we will be able to appoint them. I'm just saying that I spent a lot of time calling everyone on that list to find out what their preference was. And that was the discussion that I had when I called her. Is, you know, here are the two boards, here's what can be appointed to, here's how many applicants that there are for.
Well, I think one thing that needs to be
Does Ms.
clarified.
Howard still enjoy serving on that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think one thing that needs to be clarified about it though is Parks and Rec, is that an advisory or is it
Yeah, it's
actual,
It's advisory.
okay,
They
yeah,
don't make any decisions at all.
right, yeah.
That's the reason some of my folks that I know said, I don't even bother, because you guys
Yeah.
know what you're gonna do.
So
Exactly,
I feel like we
that's
got
what I'm
bogged
saying.
down on Parks and Rec. Can we go back to the
Yeah.
citizens development,
Oh,
Yeah,
hotel motel?
yes, because I think, but
how would you know that?
we have not made a nomination to replace Becky yet.
No.
I think, can we confirm that Reggie Lawrence is not serving anywhere else?
Doesn't appear to be.
If he is not, then I would like to nominate Reggie Lawrence. He's been a faithful and consistent attender and does his homework.
He's good. He served on a board that I worked
P&Z.
with.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, or it might have been the city development.
It was
the-
city development.
Okay,
That was.
and he was excellent. I'll
No,
just say
he's
that.
good. I'm not gonna deny that, but I'm having a problem conflicting with wanting to get other people on here.
Which I still prioritize, but having gone back through and read through these and through the conversations that we've had, I think we have two really good candidates that are also with insignia. And then I think that Reggie Lawrence, based on metrics alone, is the best candidate.
Okay.
But he also applied to
I think there's something to be said for having some wisdom there
Mhm.
too. We just don't want them all to be
Yeah, we're just
the
not
same
appointing everybody.
people over and over.
No, I agree, and that's part of getting different people on there. So I believe if we're gonna go in order, I did make a motion to have Amber on there. If somebody would like to second it.
So that
yeah,
is
that's what I,
correct.
yeah, I'll second that.
I thought,
Amber.
Do what?
I would like for her to be on.
oh, I just thought that it got withdrawn because she was gonna go to Parks and Rec.
Well,
No,
that's where we got derailed,
Okay.
was
Yeah, we
was
went
she
off.
interested in Parks and Rec? And that's when all of you chimed in and said, that's what we're gonna need the most help, is with Parks and Rec, which is why that opened up that discussion.
And we might have somebody sitting over here that would be interested in speaking to Parks and Rec that we might be able to add today.
so was there a second?
So anyway, all right.
Councilman
For-
Morrow, second.
So let's
Yeah, I'll
go.
second.
Let's go with
Her
her.
application may have spoken.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on Amber.
Amber.
I'm, Miss V is how I'm gonna pronounce that.
Do you want to
If you're ready
You
to
want me to
vote, all in
pause?
favor?
time out?
You want me to pause? Time out.
She works out. Be
That's a
careful.
sports term, John.
She's got 3 little ones. She's doing the extracurricular. She spoke to Parks and Rec. So I don't know if that's her board of choice.
Which is her board
Are we
choice.
still talking
about
about Amber?
She says
Yeah.
on here that
Amber.
she spoke to them.
She spoke to. I mean, no, I'm saying in her application.
Well, the
And
back
it's
of
on
the
the back,
page,
and it
the
says
back
number
page
2.
would be
And I
this for the
spoke to her
second board.
yesterday.
Oh, which one is her second choice?
It's there on page number 2.
Oh, okay.
Her second choice is
Hotel,
the
motel
citizen
advisory.
development.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So number 1 is Parks and Rec, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But her second choice is hotel motel.
And
Right.
And I think she'd be good just because of all these.
but we're saying we need her on person.
And that's where her
I'm gonna
first
just shut
choice
up
is.
now.
Okay, so can we proceed?
Do you
with
wanna
the vote?
stick to your,
Yes, I'd like for us to.
I'm sorry.
but her first choice is Parks and Rec.
Yes.
Okay, alright, so we have a motion
From
and a
what I
second.
read, yeah.
All in favor, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, can I, cause I didn't know her first choice was Parks and Rec, can I recuse my second?
Yes,
Yeah, you can withdraw.
Yeah, withdraw my
yes,
second,
and so we have a motion
cause
for
I'd
the
rather be
appointment
on.
of Amber V. Do we have a second? So her nomination will die for lack of a second. We all know why.
And now we're on to Reggie Lawrence.
And I'm waiting for
I
another.
would like to nominate Reggie Lawrence for the Becky Wisdom seat.
So Reggie Lawrence has been nominated. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Corrales, any discussion? Robin? I just want to make sure.
No
I know
timeouts?
you
No
worked out.
timeouts.
She works out. So, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. For the sake of not losing ourselves in a conversation,
Do we want to reappoint before we move on
Do we
with that,
reappoint
Brandon?
Brandon?
Yes.
I make the motion to reappoint Brandon.
second,
Second.
seconded, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes to appoint Brandon to another term. I'm not really thinking we need to do anything with the Capital Improvement Advisory Committee.
Oh, we do have a
We do.
blank.
We have a blank, yeah,
Or a black, what's it say?
Yeah, that guy.
that, yeah.
Okay, oh,
Do I have a
Bill
motion
Scott.
on the table?
I'd make a motion for Bill Scott.
I second that.
Motion and second, discussion, questions, or concerns? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. So moved. NBC is good. Everybody got
Well,
that?
actually, can I bring one thing up with NBC?
Yes.
Like, this is the most coveted, one of the two most coveted boards. And there's someone on there that is 55%. So that, this is the one that everyone wants on. And so I don't know how I feel about that.
I think
There-
she
there was
was
some-
amended.
She had.
Okay.
yeah,
She had, okay.
And I'm not so sure, some of you have been in meetings, I've been at meetings, some of you aren't. I'm not sure that she hasn't been present by video.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's
well, my
in-
bad. I just saw
Yeah.
that 55% was concerned, so.
I think
So does
that's
video
valid.
count? It does count
Yeah.
as a meet, yeah,
I
I
mean, she's in the
figured.
meeting, she's participating and moving and.
And I apologize, I didn't know about her medical.
Yeah,
She's serving
she's
as secretary as well.
Okay, Midland Park Conservancy, Midland Housing Authority. Looks like we have a pretty cut and dry thing here if we stick to our process of going ahead and nominating those who are still interested in serving.
And I spoke to Sheena and Bob and let them know we had two people we were gonna reappoint, so there was likely a vacancy. So I'll move to reappoint Wes Gotcher and Robert Lehrer
Okay.
from Midland Housing Authority.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, so moved. Urban Transit,
I would like to remove this the liaison for this, and I would
I
like
can
to.
tell why. 2
And I
out
would-
of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so, I would like to nominate, Mr. Corrales to take my place.
I've thought of it, we just need to.
okay. Then, do I have to do a vote on that, or can I just as mayor appoint Mr.
Yeah,
Corrales
as
as
mayor.
liaison? So moved by me. So we need to replace EJ and Iris, and it looks like Mr. Sanchez is gonna make it by the skin of his teeth.
And so to confirm, you weren't the liaison, you were actually a
Yeah.
member.
Yeah,
Well, so, yeah, he's a member. Are we going to appoint Mr. Corrales as member or liaison?
as a member is what I would
Okay,
propose.
then I would, Mr. Ladd, would you wanna make that
I'd
motion?
like to nominate Mr. Corrales as a member to replace me.
Any second?
I second.
All right, all in favor, aye.
Alright.
Any opposed? All right, do we need a liaison if we have Mr. Corrales there as a member?
Nope.
Doesn't seem to me like we do.
Can he be both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now I need some nominations for the replacement of Baldridge and Foster. Looks like we have two people.
Well,
I'm not sure about either.
I don't know if anybody, see it here would like to serve on Parks and Rec.
No, we're on Midland or
I mean,
Odessa.
oh, that's a transit, Bob Kreitz and Woody both said they would like to serve on that. If we have anybody else that's interested in serving, those are two for two.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you don't know Mr. Crouch, you can read a lot about him in the.
Oh, I've noticed, pretty
I was
vocal.
gonna say, he,
Yeah, I get a lot of emails.
I don't know, I mean, it seems to me that over the years, this particular
Yes.
board hasn't had the best board members. And I just think we need to be careful who we appoint. I mean, Odessa does some, and we do some, and
Do you think if he
It's
were
just-
That
involved,
was
he
my
might
next
be
comment.
quiet? It would get him involved and give him somewhere to put his energy.
I'm
think
not
he's
sure.
a-
I don't know,
Okay.
I mean,
I would
I don't
agree
wanna
with
say
that.
too much other than I don't know that that's a good idea.
Well, I agree with you that the Urban Transit District Board might be a place. I agree with you, Robin. You know, okay, look, I get emails from you all the time. I hear this gentleman. I'm like, okay, you wanna see what it's all about?
Mhm.
Cause it is advisory too,
Mhm.
that is
It is
well.
advisory.
Well, I know, but I can just tell you that, well,
You got some strong advice.
There has been issues between, I mean, Odessa hasn't appointed great board members over the years, and I mean, I don't know. Y'all do what you wanna do.
Okay, I need some action
I'm
or
good
no
with what you
action.
guys wanna do.
I'll move to nominate Woody.
A motion on the table to nominate Woody.
To
Does Buzz
replace,
come with him?
Not from Toy Story.
to
To
re-
replace EJ.
Do we know Woody?
Sounds-
Does anyone know Woody?
I called him.
Okay.
I don't
And I
know.
had a pretty good
He's got a
attitude.
snake in his boot. Do I have a second for Woody? Do I have a second for
Oh,
Mr.
for Woody?
Woodward? Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Woodward.
Okay.
So do I not have a second on the table for Mr.
Yeah,
Woodward?
I second.
Okay. All in favor for Woody, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so Woody replaces EJ, spelt like it sounds. I'll never forget it when he said that in the debate. Really? So do I have a nomination on the table for the replacement of Iris?
I think we should
Do I have a
move
nomination
on to
for
the
Iris?
next committee.
Okay, well, unless I hear something in the next like 3 seconds, I'm gonna move on. We'll have to revisit this. Please make note, Ms. Secretary. Next meeting. Then we'll move on to Oil and Gas Advisory Committee. Which if I'm, well, we really don't, we need to make a motion on Scott and Ross.
Both of them were willing to serve.
Mhm.
Their attendance is pretty good. They both satisfy the real estate and petroleum engineering requirement. So I'd make a motion to renominate Scott Bowden and Ross Clayton to oil and gas.
A second?
Second.
I second.
So moved.
Who
All in
said that?
favor,
Who's that?
Scott,
Scott?
either one on the end.
Scott.
All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved. Now to the worst TV show on the planet.
Oh, no, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good show.
Terrible show. All right, are there any 50%ers we already looked at? Ms. Howard was sick, we understand that. Lynn Rogers needs to be replaced if we are going down that road. Let me ask you if there's a motion to remove Ms. Rogers.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Nay,
You're opposed to that?
yeah, I'm opposed
Okay.
to it, but it's
I
for
know.
certain reasons.
I know.
She was actually the chair. No, she wasn't. She's
No, she wasn't.
secretary or something, right?
Yeah, she was, but she had a lot of problems and
Yeah.
stuff. But I don't want to, go beyond our 50% rule. But it was a lot of stuff that she.
And she probably needs a break.
Yeah.
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 Is there a motion on the floor to reappoint Laura Smith, who is still interested in serving?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Let's move to the vacancy.
I'll move to nominate Amber Rothhopper to replace Connie Ferguson.
There's a motion and a second to appoint Amber. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. So moved.
who was the
Stephanie
second?
Martin. We need to replace her. Is there a motion from the applicants?
So one that's not on here, if you go to Lydia Rodriguez in your packet of deals, she applied for parks. I believe. Yeah. So she may not be on your Excel worksheet, but she did apply for that.
Who is it?
Lydia Rodriguez. Well,
Is
we'll have-
that your name?
You would be interested in?
No, she said Ryan.
Well,
Ryan Clink.
she said, yes, personally, but that also said Brian Clink would be interested in another one.
What's your name again?
Rachel. I think you would, did you make a motion on it? Yeah, I don't wanna be on.
For
He
one.
was just referring us to Lydia, I believe. Ms. Rodriguez?
Yeah, so we have 2 vacancies, 3 vacancies. We still have Stephanie, Bill Shamel, and Lynn Rogers. We filled one with Amber. So,
We have 3 vacancies sitting in front.
yeah,
Correct.
just FYI.
But I will be happy to nominate Rachel Overman if she
I
is
will
so interested.
second that nomination.
See you, Pete.
All right, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Congratulations.
So she taking Stephanie's.
We'll
Or any
see, any of those spots,
Oh, any of
whichever you choose.
How about the vacant,
Okay,
the vacancy filled?
alright. So that fills the vacancy. We still have to replace,
Go out and ask for more applicants for this.
Stephen Vallejo said that he would serve on it if he didn't include parks. I mean, to, so that may feel.
okay, wait. Amy, we have only nominated one person, or did we replace
We
Lynn?
did.
We replaced Lynn, yeah.
No,
Amber.
we have not replaced Lynn.
You
Amber.
replaced Connie, I believe.
Amber
Amber and
replaced the
Rachel.
vacant, Rachel,
Oh,
I'm sorry, Rachel replaced the vacant and Amber replaced Connie.
I think it would be really good
So we need two more.
to consider getting some people that are really engaged with some of our larger sports associations to ask if they would like to put anyone forward for this board, because I think sometimes the conversations that I've been a part of, and John, you can correct me if I don't see this correctly, but it seems like there could be benefit to having some of those folks at the table for some of these discussions about parks. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, I think it would be helpful. But like Scott said earlier, because it is an advisory, a lot of people are just like, I mean, y'all gonna do what y'all wanna do anyway, so. But yes, to answer your question, I do think it would be helpful.
Okay, that's helpful to move us to a discussion. Do we have a council wish to defer on the remaining two, or do we have any nominations still pending for the remaining two that anybody would like to make for Parks and Rec?
I would like to move to defer and seek additional applicants.
I say,
I have a willingness to defer for no more than 2 weeks. Is everybody okay with that for now?
Can we reach out to whomever is gonna continue or can continue?
I'd say council, reach out to whomever you want to reach out to on your terms.
No, I mean, as far as who's on the board
Yeah,
for quorum purposes.
well, did they not have enough for?
So-
it would just be Stephanie at this point.
Do you want
Yeah,
to-
just
It would
ask
just be
Stephanie if
Yeah.
she could stay on until we find a replacement.
Oh,
Is Connie gone, or did we just,
You replaced her with.
well, it really doesn't
Oh.
matter.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, I see what
we
you're
can
saying.
ask both Stephanie
Yeah,
and
let's
Connie
just-
to remain on.
I
That's
see what
the
you're
gist of
saying.
what I'm kind
Can
of
the
getting
city secretary's office reach out to the two of them and see if they'll, or city manager's office and see if Connie and Stephanie will remain on until we get to that nomination?
Well, in order for that to work, you'd need to change then, like, Amber was replacing Connie, so do you want to change that to say Amber replaces Lynn?
Yes. At this point, the vacant and Lynn, let's just call those replaced.
And then they, as long as they're willing to, they can continue to serve until somebody's been appointed to
Let's just
replace
ask them to
them.
serve for no more than 30 days unless notified otherwise.
Okay.
That gives us a 1 month window, which I'm hoping we get that resolved by next meeting. Everybody- Okay, so a motion was made by Ms. Long to defer on these two nominations. A second, Mr. Corrales?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
I
Any opposed? So moved. B and Z. We may need some more applicants. I don't see any action needing to be
Long and
taken
Norman to
on
defer.
the attendance records.
Norman has already made it.
The alternate has
Just
one,
the
but I
alternate.
don't know.
I spoke with Emily Haliva yesterday and she would like to be moved up to member.
And that's kind of what we've been doing in the past. I think if you serve that well, 86% as an alternate, you
86%.
deserve to
I think
be
that's
on the
great.
board.
She's aware of the process, so I think she'd be a good fit.
And I actually think if you come to 9 out of the 20 meetings and you're an alternate, it may or may not do
Emily.
anything. I think you need to move them up and give them a shot.
Well, I moved to appoint Emily Haliva as a member.
I'll second
And then
that.
you just need to.
Well, to replace.
To replace.
Oh,
So
to
replace
replace
Chase
Chase
Gardner.
Gardner.
I'll
Alright,
second that.
all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Alright, from the tenor of the room, it doesn't sound like, based on attendance, Beverly Dillo seems to be an appropriate move up to replace Carmen Bryant. Am I sensing the room correctly on that?
Well, does
Yeah.
that mean that she showed up to meetings she didn't even serve at?
That's right.
Yeah,
She just sits
she's
in
on the
your
airport
So
board,
she
right,
came
too?
for 40% of not even
Yeah,
having a job at it. To me, that's good.
that's what I think.
She's already serving on airport board.
That's very good.
Okay, then here's what I'm gonna look for. I'm either gonna look for a motion to appoint Beverly to a permanent position, or we're going to replace her as an alternate since she's possibly serving on another commission or board. In that place, we would need to have 2 alternates, but we also need to replace Carmen.
Could we just leave her as an alternate?
Ms. Dillo? We sure could, if that's the wish of the council. My concern about that is with so many people asking to be a part of it and her already serving on a board and commission, could we appoint another alternate to get involved? And that way we at least get another alternate involved. Ms. Dillo's serving already, and then we still have a spot for someone else. That would be my only caution in regard. So, any action in light of these comments related to Ms. Dillo? We either be content with her serving where she's serving and replacing her as an alternate. Any action on that? And if so, I would need a motion to replace an alternate.
Could we fill the other 2 first and then come back to that?
We have filled Chase, so if there's a desire to fill Carmen, we can do that now.
You know, I mean, there's a couple of them I actually like that could be, I mean, I don't know them all. I mean, obviously I know Skeet, and then I got a call from, I guess, Abraham or Jill Basil.
There you go.
You know, he's with,
So he runs the facilities for Midland Memorial.
he does.
And I reached out to him too. That's probably one of the better people to be on there because of his familiarity with property, with taking old hospital properties, bringing them up to code, getting past the inspections. Very knowledgeable guy, so I'd make a motion to nominate Abraham.
To fill those.
Do that for Carmen.
Okay, so a nomination on the table for Abraham and a second to replace Carmen Bryant.
I think what I did, or.
Yeah, you did. I got
Okay.
it. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign? All right. So
Okay,
done.
tell me who made the motion, who seconded?
Corrales and Dufford.
Corrales
in
and
that
Dufford,
order.
thank you.
And now we need to appoint 2 alternatives.
So I'd like to, well, unless,
Alternate.
No, 1 alternate.
yeah, 1 alternate.
Because we've left Bill Beverly there, right?
Well, are we gonna
That's
leave
the
her there?
question. Whether any of y'all
I
want.
know. Do we wanna leave her there?
That's my point. I mean, we have a chance to put 2 more people in as alternates to gain
Yeah.
exposure.
That's what I think
And
we
then
should
we
do.
can move her to her service. when
There's
she's
just
already-
so, there's so many good applicants.
Yeah.
There are, yeah.
I got it.
I mean, like, be hard to
Skeet would be a good one.
Yeah, so would Josh.
Okay, she's been around for a
as far as-
freaking long
Yeah.
time. I mean, he's like,
Yeah, Skeet's actually served one other time. I mean, he's a real estate guy.
I
Why can't
understand, but who's
Yeah.
new?
few of these people?
Sally Vega.
Sally Vega,
Yeah.
she was up
She
there
was here
today.
today.
And we were talking about we wanted more young people.
You carded her.
Yes.
Dan Carter.
She's in real estate, so I mean.
Well, somebody make a motion.
I'll make a motion to move Sally Vega into
I'll second
alternate.
that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The young one, move to an alternate,
Young one.
and we need 1 more alternate.
For Emily, for Emily, right? Correct?
Yes,
About-
either way we're going. I think, do we need to send a letter? Okay, let me ask you this. Do we need to remove Ms. Dillo as an alternate?
If you appoint somebody to replace her, then she'll get a thank you letter with a certificate signed from the council.
Okay.
So,
If you'll give me, if we go down that route, let me get her information and I'd make a phone call unless somebody else wants to make a phone call and say, here's what we did and why we did it.
Or let's hold off and talk to her before we do that.
I
I
just,
mean, just the fact that she showed up, you know, for most meetings, knowing that she was probably never ever going to be involved.
it feels a
Can
little
I say
cute.
something? She's a very nice lady and all that, and the reason that she's showing up to those meetings, and you can check attendance, is because some of the board members are not attending as they need to be, so she's always available to replace.
So she was always available to replace.
Every time that the reason that she showed up to all those meetings is because some of the board members doesn't attend to where it's supposed to be, in my opinion. So, and she's always available.
And just
But
wait,
but it's
we can
nobody
contact
below
the
50.
alternates. Attendance records show the lowest one is 64%.
Just stay.
Do we contact the alternates, let them know, hey, you're up?
You did.
okay, so it's my understanding that as an alternate, they encourage them to attend all the meetings so they get a feel for what's going on.
Okay.
The alternates, if there's not going to be a quorum, then actually move up and actually vote during the
Only if
meeting.
there's not a quorum though.
If there's not a quorum, correct.
And then just one thing that's probably a little bit behind. Can we agree for Amy or Marcia to go through these, and if they're not eligible, to not submit it to us? So for P and Z, and it's in the back of this thing, you have to own real property to have a say. I know Sally, she and her husband Alonzo own a home. Everybody that we've nominated so far does, but not everybody on that list qualifies. So, and my understanding is previously council wanted to just go through it and see who they choose to go on there. But if they don't meet the qualifications in this manual, I don't think they should be on the list for us to even be considering.
I don't have a problem.
That would make it easier.
Okay, I'm just
Okay.
formalize that so that we know next year, Marcia, if they don't meet the eligibility requirements, we shouldn't be looking.
I've
And
I've
we
assumed that
put that
everybody
on,
that's always
like,
been on the
just a
list
box
has,
they check
because I
that-
figured that somebody.
For all of them?
It's the same application though, so it's hard, and a lot of these boards have different eligibility requirements, so it's hard to put them all on the application.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be easier to add it rather than have you guys go look
Do
it
the
up?
research.
But then there's other boards that have other qualifications.
So
And I-
animal services, you
and-
have to have a veterinarian, you have to have somebody who's on the rescue.
Yeah.
Right,
You put all that for
but-
one page.
You have
But
to own
one
an
that's
animal.
across the board for this, as simple as putting one little box on there, do you own property in Midland?
You have to own a dog or a cat.
But that's not a requirement for all the
But
boards.
it's one
But it
little
is for
box,
Yes,
it
yeah, I
doesn't
can-
matter,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think
Council?
we should expect more.
Whoa. P and Z meets probably more often and more importantly than any council, any commission we have. So going back to how we started this discussion with the attendance issues, I would put on the table that the 50% thing, we actually need to get back up to the 75% on this one as is. That being the case, I would see if it's the council's will to take action on Ms. Gross and her attendance, and whether we need to replace her on this board.
I would give her a phone call first before I did that.
Okay.
I just would.
I have to.
That's just me.
I have to run, but I wanted to say this probably won't be a popular statement, but I think like we've got two people on here, Stephen Vieira and Ross Schumann, that run for city council, and they want to be involved. And I that's something I'd like us to at least consider. If someone went through that effort to run for city council, as god awful as it is, they should at least have some consideration.
Spoken from someone running a budget.
Spoken as someone running
Well, in your departure, do you want to make a motion to appoint those two as alternates? Well, don't do it now because
No,
actually we're gonna work
no.
on this Dillo
No, I'll let y'all discuss,
Um,
but
and no one, does anybody have any appetite for discussion related to Stacy?
My only question is, we've removed several other people for attendance issues, and we've not said we need to call them first.
But they were a lot less than 64%. She's kind of on the cusp.
Well, a lot
I'd
less
say
than
But we're trying to go to
64%.
75%.
yeah, PNC should have a higher standard.
The rule in here
Threshold.
is 75,
Period.
and if you miss two, so 14 out of 22, you've missed more than two.
Right.
You've missed 8.
But that's the reason we have alternates too.
No, I
I agree, I'm just saying with this one, which speaks into every city council meeting. I mean, every council meeting we have, we're responding to P and Z. I just think we need to, elevate that a little bit. But if there's not the will to do that at this point, I'm willing to let you think about that. Because we still need to make sure Ms. Dillo
Yeah.
is willing to just serve on the board so we can appoint an alternate. So as it sits right now, we've replaced Chase and Carmen. We put Sally in as an alternate, is that correct? And we
Yes.
still need to make the decision on Ms. Dillo. And there's no other action required in that regard. Am I reading that correct,
So
Council?
then, if we're gonna have a conversation, just to recap, you'd like to have a conversation with Stacy.
I think
Yeah,
she would
because-
respond accordingly and she would
If
make an
I-
effort to come to
If
everything.
I call her, I think it would change.
Okay,
Okay, I'll wait for
And
your
then-
report.
if we find out that she
Not that I want to
needs to
call
be
her.
replaced, then we could move Beverly into that role and then replace Beverly as well. That we can wait and do that later.
Yes. Okay, Council, are we good there?
Yes, just for clarification, so as far as the alternates, is that same 75% apply?
No.
No.
Okay, Okay, I just want to be sure.
Is there any way to clarify that if someone doesn't show up to P and Z, that the alternate is supposed to be there, were they in attendance for that? I think that's the only thing that's lousy about the alternate, is you gotta show up to 22 meetings, and you don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Do they not know
Is P
beforehand?
and Z communicating outside of that? Are they calling, you may know that, they may call them and say, we're not gonna be there, can you show up, can you make sure you're there?
So most of the times, the way that this works, so Dalia, which is the one in charge, they call every single one, even though they set the agenda on Thursday. So we should, all responsibility, in my opinion, is for us to reply and say if we're coming or not. But no, she calls, on Monday morning to find out who's coming. And so like, in this case, Dylan, she's always, well, 95% of the time when they call
She's
her to
willing to
attend,
fill.
she's willing to be there. The reason that she hasn't been in all the meetings is because of that. But if you're not an alternate and you don't get a call, you don't come.
Mm.
So if this is gonna change, we need to let them know. And also we have some, like I said, some board members that even the applicant questions about, you know, there's a lot of rules I think that we might need to go over with the boards, like dress code and kind of like study a little bit about the city code and stuff like that. So I would really highly recommend if you have that many applicants that really look into that, because like you said, CNC plays a big role, and you want to choose people that are really
Workout wear
and
isn't the
understand,
proper attire for P and Z.
you know, how this works. So
You mean no yoga pants?
No. But no, just figuring out how we're gonna count that attendance, is they were notified to come because somebody wasn't gonna show up and then they showed up. I think if they do that, that's 100% to me. Versus if you're an alternate, you gotta go to 22 meetings, you know?
I don't think it should be the same for alternates. And
No,
it sounds to me
I-
like they are actually being called to find out who's showing up and who's not. And it ought to be the responsibility of the person on P and Z to say, hey, I'm not gonna be there on Monday. So, you know, you can even call the alternate. And I think whoever's running the P and Z meeting on Monday needs to kind of be the one in charge of that.
Mhm.
Which is why you're gonna find out with your phone call why we have such a low attendance rate.
I'll find out.
I don't see this one in here, but can I go ahead and say I'm right now the advisory or the liaison for the CDBG thing too? This is not one of our options here, but I'd like to remove myself from that one.
Okay, would anybody like to make a motion to remove Lori from CDBG?
I will make the motion.
You want to
Okay, Duffer seconds, all in favor of removing Lori, aye? Aye, any opposed, none?
So John's on it now?
Who's gonna do CDBG if they?
John is too, there's two of us.
Yeah.
So would you want to do it, Dan?
Well,
When do they meet?
Or does somebody else want to?
It's
have to have two?
It's not on here.
Well, we've always had two.
It's not on here.
It's not on.
Yeah, it's not on there.
Lori was just removing herself.
What day do they meet?
Shoot, we only met.
You only
What?
meet
As long as it
Twice.
doesn't conflict with any of the other boards I'm on, but.
Yeah, I mean, we only met twice, as far as I know.
Yeah.
If it's not a
So
monthly meeting, that's fine.
It's not a big deal.
I didn't even, to be honest with you, I didn't know it was a board. That's what I mean, because it's not on there or
It's
anything.
advisory.
Advisory.
Yeah, that was just.
Okay. You wanna appoint it, or somebody wanna make a
Everyone should
motion?
move to the next page.
I will appoint Daniel Corrales to be the liaison number 2 in CDBG, but at the same time, with the caveat, if, for both of you, if we get to the point where that's kind of a shared thing, and if you go and he can't go, or, you know, there's.
It doesn't make any difference.
Especially if you're meeting like once every millennium.
It just
Yes.
helps with input. All it does is help with input.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
You can-
Moving right along.
Personal board of
By the way, when I'm kicked out and you guys forget about me in like 6 days, I'll be happy to help out that person on the Board of Appeals.
You can be
You
the
and I have
citizen
done that.
liaison.
Oh,
Fire
yeah,
pension.
you need to stay on
That's
there.
the one I really want.
In all actuality, we actually at least had 2 meetings this year.
Yeah, we did. I think we had 3.
Maybe it was 3. So, and they're interesting meetings. I
They're heartbreaking.
can't speak about any of them, but.
I will stay.
Oh,
Whoever wins there, if they want me to the pension board, I will serve in the pension
that's the
board.
one I was talking about. That's what I
I will
thought you were
stay
saying.
on the pension
The
board.
fire.
Oh,
Fireman's
Yeah.
pension.
You
Okay,
have to
so
stay on.
Zoning Board of Adjustment, Airport Zoning Board of Adjustment.
So did we finish with planning and zoning?
Yes, for
Yeah,
now.
we moved to
For a bit of a deferment.
Okay.
You sit down
I'm
here
trying to
with the
keep
rest of us.
I would like to move to
We're on this one.
reinstate
Last
Ruth
page.
Claver for the zoning board of adjustment for his second term.
That's the airport.
No,
Zoning
yeah,
board
the
of
ZBA for
adjustment.
oil stuff, oil.
All right, there's a motion to reappoint Claybrook. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. So
We
moved.
have two that need to be elected
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. we did.
3,
Oh,
4.
and no applicants.
On this one, they
I
meet
thought if
twice
it
a
was-
year, but on the 0%,
Thought he was good.
I don't know how I feel about 0%.
I know how I feel about 0%. Empty. Kidding. Okay, let me suggest this. They meet twice a year. Might I suggest a letter written by the city manager or city secretary's office to these people serving about the importance of the term and attendance? And we need to know if they're committed to serving, or does anybody want, we could take action on Mr. Garrity. It's kind of interesting, he hasn't attended, he's running for
And
office.
that's 3. They met last week.
Yeah.
So that's 0 for 3.
0 for 3.
But is that updated? Did he show up last week?
No,
No.
he didn't.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. He's 0 for 3. I was there.
Is there anything that they actually do?
Yeah, we'll do it.
That is, they're the final say and it doesn't come back to the council on. I mean, I'm trying to think of stuff that these zoning boards.
So
Cause I know we
they
defanged a
had
bunch
2
of.
rigs that had an issue with height that went to Jeff that they gotta clear with the airport, and to my knowledge,
Well, that FAA does that. Those guys don't have any say in how high a rig is.
no. I think what they were proposing is to put 2 on one platform. So they're doing it a different way. They've changed the way that they've done it so that it's more streamlined for FAA. So they make those recommendations as opposed to having to come back for each one per pad.
But it still has to.
But it's still,
Yeah, it still has to
yeah,
go
these
through
guys
it.
don't make any decisions.
That's
But
just
I make a
FAA.
motion to remove both that are at 0.
I agree with you.
Who else is at 0?
who else? Oh, it's
James
2 other
Brown.
alternates.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the alternate.
But is that because he don't have to be there?
21, is he still technically the alternate?
We
I
just
don't
didn't
know.
formally vote to take him off.
Let me ask you a question. Do we need this board?
I think it has to be there, is my understanding.
Okay.
Maybe by law it has to be there,
Yes.
but they have no teeth.
Okay, let me ask,
Correct.
so let me
Understand.
follow up with the question. I'm all for removing, but could we get an opinion from legal on this board?
We can, my recollection is, and Amy, you can, but they went through 3 years ago maybe and looked at which boards were statutorily required, and this board
Is
was one of those that was
statutory.
left.
Right, so we
We tried
should have.
to get rid of a lot of boards before y'all got here.
They took away some of their abilities
Mhm.
because of some of the issues, but we can't remove this board.
Is there any way that the same actions of zoning board of adjustment, airport zoning board of adjustment can be subsumed under airport planning and development?
I don't believe so.
No, and I think part of it was when it said not applicable to airport zoning.
Yeah, board
So
of
they're
adjustment separate.
Okay, well then, what's still on the table is a removal of office for James Garrity and Franklin, which for Franklin, this is probably not even it's probably just a gesture.
So, but if we remove
You
them,
don't know James
will
Franklin?
they,
He's a music guy?
still have a quorum?
Yeah, they had a quorum the last time. It's the same people that show up or the same ones that continue to show up.
Okay.
And since they just met, they're not meeting for another few months. So it isn't like we have to be worried about quorum here in
Right.
October.
Gotcha.
So,
Motion on the table to remove Mr. Garrity and Mr. Franklin. Is there a second?
I second.
Well, then,
What's the motion,
the
Dan?
one question I have, I guess if we do that, will we have a quorum with the others? If in some instance, there's not enough, and at least these guys are at least on there.
They would all have to be present.
Is it 3 or 4?
Yeah, how many have to be present?
3
That's
out of the
question.
5.
3.
And
So
they
they would
had
have
4
a
out of the 5
So-
last time,
Yeah.
correct? They have
They got a
4
good
plus
chance.
4.
Okay, they have a good chance of it. Okay,
For one of their 2 times.
for one of their 2 things. All right.
All in favor of removing Garrity and Franklin? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. So moved.
re-advertise that one too.
Yep. Okay, thank you guys for a tremendous work.
Oh, Jesus.
You're adjourned.
Oh, get that time.
So how's it going?
146.
I'm gonna leave these here.
Okay.
All of them? Do you have a sign down there yet? I told you about put one there.
Next to you, on my side there.
Robert?
He's not putting up any more signs, I got you. He's like, you know, you can hire a roustabout crew to put up the signs. I did. I never put up one sign. Hire a roustabout crew.
The best thing to do is hire a moving company.
I know, I heard
Moving
about
companies,
it, and they did some.
affordable movers, meet for me.
They did.
I can see you fixing that
But-
Griffin though.
Oh, I did find something. Yes, yes, I did
I'm
find
telling you
something.
what, Jared has
They
done a lot of
haven't
it too.
received, there's a website.
Well,
they remember.
I did my sign
He
the
what?
first time, and I vowed I'd never do it again. So, there you go. Of course, I had my son and his friends were old enough to help me do something.
My
You sure you don't wanna- You don't have to walk.
You can probably
I got his
put
son's
it on
stuff.
hold.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We have a good.
Hurley didn't have anything. I think Amy does.
Jesus.
Well, anyway, just
You don't want us to bring it down like it's okay.
I'll take a
All right.
note.
Then we gotta figure all this
Nah, man,
all this approval out.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Edit everything.
Yeah.
Just, as everybody leaves, remember, Rob will